Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Power Driven Podcast. Today's going to be a pretty fun episode. We're talking about diesel events, big events. And we have a guest today, Damian, who just put on a first ever Southwest Truck Fest event that Myer went down to and Dyno. I couldn't make it and you couldn't make it because we had families and our wives had planned spring break trips, but I was sad I couldn't been there. But Damian put on this event, first event of his life, wanted to put a truck show together. And we're going to kind of talk today about what it takes to put on an event, why you should or should not put on an event. People have asked us, when are you going to put on an event? We never have. And we've thought about it a little. Will thinks about it more than I do. Will wants to do it really bad.
I think it'd be fun to do an event, but I also, I mean, like from your event, I saw some negative press at the end because like all diesel events, they eventually become redneck spring break.
Yeah.
And sometimes guys do things that they shouldn't after hours.
Yeah. So we have thought about it before. We never have, but you actually went out and did it. And tell us about your experience. Like, what are the things you have to do? So some guy out there thinks, man, like you're not like a shop or a big thing. You're just a guy who says, I have a desire. I want to put on a truck event, right?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of planning. And luckily for me, I had my two partners. So they helped out a lot with that too. But, you know, you just got to do it. It's like, it does take a lot and you're working on it all night long to get it done. And we did it in 3 months. And so normally other events.
So when did you start planning this event? Like when did the idea come up? Hey, we're going to do an event.
We were talking about it one day in December. And then next thing you know, I kind of said it jokingly, you know, I've always wanted to do one. And then we kind of just.
So from December and your event was in April. So you're talking
3.5 months really, because it was like December 17th when we were talking about it. I released it December 27th, and then, you know, for the turnout that we had for 3 months is insane to me because it was huge. But
there's definitely a desire for the truck show meet gathering. Everyone I go to, like, I feel like I thought it was dying for a while. The last few I've been to, there's been a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
And so anyway, I just think about like, I mean, for a while we did the NHRDA thing and we still do that. And that kind of, it seems like it's building again, but it kind of slowed down for a long time. COVID didn't help, of course. And, but yeah, so you decided to do this in December, you have an event in April. Like, to the guy who's never done this before, what are the things you have to do? Like, okay, I'm doing an event. What are the things you have to figure out?
I mean, you have to, you know, permitting's the hardest. That one took the longest. And I didn't even, like, we had the venue and we had everything else in line, but we waited a month to even find out if we were going to get accepted for the permit.
Now, who do you go to? Who's permitting what? Like
the city,
like the city, whatever place you're in, city or county, or whatever, you have to go say, hey, we want to do this event.
Yep. So then it goes to the police department, and then it goes to the fire department, and then
do you have to go to, like, I mean, in my mind, I'm seeing like a city council meeting. Do you have to go like for city council and say, hey, we want to do this? Or how do you actually, is that
paperwork? What do you do?
It's just an application that you fill out online, but you have to have like a emergency plan. You have to have a medical plan. You have to have a security plan. You have to have like, it's
intense.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I mean, the first day I submit the permit, 8 of them get approved. And then the last 3 weeks, it was like just a couple people needed to approve it.
Oh.
And so we're waiting 3 to 4 weeks for that. And it's like, we've already announced that we're doing the event.
Yeah.
We already have the venue locked in. So it's like,
you probably had to pay them a deposit or something.
Yeah. So you have to pay a deposit on the permit. So if you get declined, it's like, well, there goes that money. And then, you know, we had the venue locked in, and then, you know, now we're designing merch and we're doing all this stuff, and vendors they're interested. They're starting to, you know, pay. I have the ticket sales going, and it's like, luckily it was a pretty easy refund policy if we needed to do it. But I mean, like, it was a lot.
So you say you have a medical plan. Like, what does that even mean?
That was my
I
next
just got to have like an ambulance on site, or I need to have a first aid kit. Like what?
So
what is your medical?
We didn't necessarily need like an ambulance on site, but you just had to have somebody who was at least CPR certified, you know, first aid kit, stuff like that. And then you had to have all your lanes just in case an ambulance or a fire truck has to get in there.
Like the actual organization of the event, where your trucks are, where your booths are, you have to have somebody be able to drive in. Like you have to organize
clear
the whole
path
entire
to
thing.
everything, kind of thing.
You have to present to them like your map almost. So here's a map of how things are going to do. So if Okay.
Yep. And then you have to, type up a plan of what's going to happen if this, and then it was a lot of thinking, but I also had a lot, like there's a guy in St. George that does Rolling on the Red Rocks. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Okay.
But he's more of like the lower trucks scene.
All right.
And his event's huge. So he kind of was a lot of help with that. And then Brighton.
So you had a little bit of mentoring to help you
Yeah.
through some of the paperwork.
Yep.
That's
And then Brighton from Diesels in the Mountains gave me some really good tips.
Okay.
And, I really respect those guys up there.
Yeah. That show's just shocking to me because that show takes place in a town that is tiny.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's huge.
It's a big show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people show up. Lots of people dynoing, racing, car show. I'm like,
Yeah.
like all of the city is here right now, but none of you are from the city.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
and that's kind of mine. I mean, we had people from Tennessee coming,
Yeah.
Colorado, California, Texas,
Interesting.
Now,
Washington
are people
State.
driving? So at your event, there's obviously, I mean, we're familiar with the dyno portion, but there's also a truck show. Are they mostly coming for the truck show or just to be
A
there?
lot of them did come for the truck show, but a lot of them also, like Steve and Eric Lucero, came from New Mexico to be on the dyno, and they set up their booth. And there was quite a few people that came just to have fun. It was first year. We had some negative feedback, but for the most part, everybody said like, for your first year, that was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big it was, and it was a lot of planning. You can ask Myer. I was running around
All day.
all day. Like
Yeah.
I probably watched the dyno for a solid hour throughout the day.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just
So you put on the event to enjoy a truck event, and really you just worked
Yeah.
at a truck event.
Yeah, I mean, my son came and he had a blast, and really without family and my friends, it wouldn't have been what it was.
So what time of day did you guys start? Early in the morning? I mean, is there weather considerations down there in St.
Yeah.
George?
I was a little worried about April because like the last weekend in March, it was pouring rain,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
we're only another weekend away from it. So it was like, what is this going to do? But luckily it was probably 85 degrees.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was great. And like you mentioned, like when did you start the event? That was my contribution. Is you're like, oh, you have to be there at 6:30. I was like, okay, like I'm not really a morning person. Do I really have to though? He's like, yes. I was like, mother trucker.
Yeah, it was early, but it worked out pretty good to where.
No, it worked out great. Yeah,
Yeah.
the weather was awesome.
Yeah, it was the next year I definitely want to have the vendors lined out a little bit better, but I feel like once I got them placed and everything like that,
So set the scene. I wasn't there. So you have a dyno somewhere. You have vendors. There's like a vendor row, like booths set
yeah,
up.
it was kind of cool, huh? It was
Yeah.
like a
It was like a block. It was kind of UCC style almost, like where it was just a couple rows of vendors, and then the dyno was in kind of like in the back. So it was great. Like it wasn't like it was close enough that it was a very quick walk, but it was far enough that you could barely hear the dyno.
yeah. My booth, I couldn't even hear the dyno at
so
all.
like you could have conversations with people as they walked up and stuff. I thought it was good.
Yeah, and that was the nice thing is like you go to other events and the dyno's just screaming all day long,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked out nice to where I turned it to where the exhaust was pointing outside of the venue, so you could actually enjoy it. And when you're next to the dyno, it's loud, but
sure.
when
Yeah.
you're in the, I also wanted to do that for the vendors as well, because you walk through vendors and it's like you can't hear nothing because the dyno's screaming.
Right.
So it kind of worked out pretty good in that way.
Yep. And there was like that water line, so it was like a natural fence. So like everyone kind of knew to stay on the other side of the fence. So
Yeah.
it wasn't an issue where people were trying to be up right there in the dyno. It was
Other
good.
than people wouldn't stay off
Yeah.
of it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah.
who
Who
had-
had close?
Who had the most impressive booth there?
Don't even. We're not going to win this. Will.
We're not going to
I don't
win. We
know
had a
what you're
booth.
trying
We
to do.
sponsored. Obviously, we did.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I was so busy, I didn't even get to like.
Yeah. Compare. Like, these guys.
I didn't go, so I have no idea who had good booths.
I gotta say, I think Sin City did pretty dang good.
Sin
Yeah,
City.
they had a couple rigs there out front. They were right next to us, so I had bird's eye view. Like,
Boosted Wheel and Tire had 8 trucks in their booth, so
Oh my
it was
gosh.
it was pretty big.
okay, so maybe
But I mean, it's kind of hard to compare booths setups.
How did you find the vendors? Like, I know you emailed us, like, okay, you got Boosted there, you got these different companies. How are you? You need sponsors to put on an event. You need to,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to pay for the venue, you got to pay for your insurance, all this kind of stuff. How did you find your sponsors? Just
So luckily, I mean, like I've known a lot of them, like Industrial Injection,
right.
Brighton. I've known
Yep.
him for a while, and then a lot of the local people in town I knew. I've known Myer and Josh for a little while.
Right.
Frank, I've known him. So most of it were personal relationships, and then there was a few people that had reached out
Yeah.
to me once they saw realistically like how decent it was doing, they wanted to be a part of it. So it kind of,
So it builds after you
Yeah.
get some big names there. They're like, okay,
yeah.
this is a legit event.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then I shut vendors down, and I still had probably 15 more people reach out to me and want to do vendors.
Oh wow,
And it's like,
need more space,
yeah. So
Mhm.
next year, I definitely want to do the fairgrounds to be able to have
bigger.
the room for it.
So I don't want to skip ahead, but I do want to talk about this. Like this event kind of was famous around here locally because of some of the news stories that came out about it that weren't so positive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was like arrests made. There was so just, I mean, my wife sent me a story. He's like, look what happened down there. I was like, oh my gosh. And so tell me kind of, tell me what went down a little bit. I'm sure you know more about it and you got calls. Like, tell me about the problems you had down there.
It was, I mean, it's going to happen.
Right.
And I don't endorse it. I don't, encourage it, condone it. We all like to have fun.
Right.
But there's a time and a place to do it. And I don't feel like a Smith's parking lot with
Yeah.
300 people there was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have found a back road
Yeah.
and been a lot safer that way. But
So just so people know, what happened was a group of people who, aside from Damian's event, just on their own, had some meetups. Like, hey, we're going to go to this event. Let's meet up some buddies. And they went
might
to-
not even have attended the event.
Yeah, who
You know,
knows?
who knows?
Yeah,
They
who-
could. They likely were there because they're diesel,
Yeah.
but we don't really know.
So there was a Best Buy parking lot that a big group of people went into and started doing donuts and burnouts, all kinds of stuff. And then there were arrests made there. And then again, was it later they went to Smith's or a different time?
that was,
people
so the Best Buy was Friday night before the event. And
before
then,
the event?
and then after,
That's by In and Out, huh?
yeah.
Yes, in that parking lot, yeah.
And then after they went,
It's a good place to get a burger.
yeah.
And so, yeah, so two different very public parking lots, large groups of people showed up and started doing donuts, and there's all kind of pictures in the news, and they kind of, dramatize it a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's like that gives a real black mark on your next year's event. Like you got to get a permit.
Yeah.
You go, hey, St. George, I want to do another one. Like, oh yeah, you're going to do another $50,000 of damage to private property around here with your event.
Yeah.
Like that can't be helpful.
Well, and the thing is it doesn't only affect mine, but it affects all the other events that go on
Right.
around here because, it's as a state. So,
Yeah.
It's just hard. And that's why also I want to try to do the fairgrounds is because we can have a little bit of a burnout strip like Flogfest had,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
try to contain that a little bit.
Yeah, because everybody sitting here very much understands why they were there and what they were doing. We've all done burnouts on roads. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, these guys are idiots and like that. But it's like you said, there's a time and a place. And,
Yeah.
and, and like it's been kind of known in the diesel world. That's happened a lot. Like, Scide and TS back in the day were
Yeah,
legendary.
they called it SDX, the Shy Diesel Extravaganza,
Yeah.
and then TS. Those were the TS Performance back. I mean, we're talking. You guys were still like
Diapers.
in grade school, but everybody would go to these big events because it was the biggest diesel show on earth and the after party. But I remember the stats had come out, like they wrote 300 DUI tickets and 700 speeding tickets and 50 smoke tickets. And it was just like, and the city is just like, you guys are going to do this. We're going to profit off you idiots.
And that's the
with
thing
tickets.
is, St. George is so small.
Yeah.
It's going to be first thing, you're going to bring all that attention to you guys that way. If you were doing it in Salt Lake, you can get to the next city in 5 minutes and, bounce around. But here we have Hurricane and St. George, it's like, it's not cool to us. And it really makes it hard for us because we want to be able to do it again with how great of a turnout it was and how respectful everybody was at the event.
Yeah.
It went smooth. We had a little, we have the complaints on the dust and,
Sure.
we want to figure out a way to get in the dirt drags, but it's like,
So you're going to do like a organized, in your mind, is it going to be like an organized burnout pit where they can enter a contest? Or is it going to be kind of like, I think Fitzgerald, they have that little burnout row. So they kind of have that street scene where you don't have to sign up, but it's almost like a designated be an idiot with your truck for a minute section where people can take pictures.
I kind of want to do it. I don't know if you guys remember when Flog had their pad poured at the fairgrounds. I kind of want to just do it like that. There's nowhere that's really going to let me get in there and have people swing in their trucks, and nor do I want to pay the insurance for that. But I think it would be a good thing to be like, okay, well, you guys can get on this pad, maybe make it a little longer so you can do a strip, and then hold it at the end if you wanted to.
Yeah. I just think like I wish people, I believe people who do that should compete. The reason they're doing that because they want to do something fun with their truck.
Yeah.
Like we all understand that. I just wish people like, and people are scared to just sign up. They want to go check it out. They don't want to run a dyno because they don't look like idiots. Or they want to do this because they're nervous about how they'll be perceived. And it's like, just go do it, man. Like the fact that you're wanting to do this in your truck, we all understand.
Yeah.
Just go do it where we have an event right here. You know, get the anxiety, that adrenaline rush in a way that's like positive, where it can grow rather than destroy the event.
Yeah.
And so
you don't have to win the burnout contest.
No,
it's still
it's
fun
still
to swing
fun.
around and
Oh yeah.
and
or you don't have to
it's
win the dyno contest.
yeah.
It's still fun to run a dyno. If you have dirt drags in the future, I just wish people would realize like these events, you should, if you're so amped up, you got to do a burnout when you leave the parking lot of the event. You should have been doing that during the event. Like,
Yeah.
you have the energy for it, you have the desire for it. Just compete, have fun.
Yeah. We had one kid at the end of the day, we were cleaning up and he goes ripping through the field, you know,
Right.
and it's like, that's not our venue.
Yeah,
You know, if it was our property, that's something different, but it's not our property. We paid a lot of money to be there
yeah,
and they gave us our trust to be there. And now you guys are going to go ripping through their grass. Like,
yeah.
and then the dyno guys are like trying to clean up and he's pretty much sprays them. You know, it's like, that's not cool to anybody and it doesn't
Yeah.
make you look cool.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like you have this built up, like you got to get it out, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I understand. Just like there was a whole event to do that in.
Yeah.
I see a lot on the internet though. You'll see like a car show, people leaving, and that's where you see all the Mustangs or the new sports car that gets out of control because
Yeah.
they got to do a burnout as they're leaving the car show.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't say it's
understandable.
abnormal for
No.
diesel guys to do that. A lot of people do that, but you're probably right. It's like a pent up, like they want to like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and
release
want to
this
participate in
adrenaline.
what
They
you've
want
been
to
watching.
participate.
You've been watching this. It looks fun. There's horsepower. It's cool.
Yeah.
You want to participate, but you didn't. So now you're gonna go do something stupid on the road or in a field or at a parking lot. It's like, just do it in the event, man. That's why it is here. The reason for this event is so you can play in your truck. Play in your truck. Let's
But-
go.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not condoning this, but I'll bet if they drove 20 miles out of town on a vacant stretch of highway and did the
Sure.
same thing, no one would have said a word. And if the police did get called and came, they wouldn't have taken people off in handcuffs and said, "Here's your bill for destroying a parking lot." They'd been like, "Oh, there's fresh chip seal on this
Yeah.
remote highway. Perfect. We don't need
And they
to
wouldn't have got
tar
a
it
bunch
next
of
week."
911 calls because you're not in a densely populated area around a Smith's parking lot. And like, hey, I'm getting the trucks. What was the quote? The trucks are taking over.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too is that Smith's is in like a old people area.
Oh, yeah, not
you
good.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, what were you guys thinking? You know?
Yeah.
And like you said, we all like to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does it, but not in large groups of people like that. And then to go to somebody's private business and tear up their drive, like their fresh concrete is like, you know,
The asphalt was brand new there in Best Buy, right? And I heard they're redoing it again. It's
Yeah.
word on the street.
yeah. My ex-wife actually works for the asphalt company.
Oh.
And so I found out
They're
the
doing
Monday after the event, and they're like, "Yeah, we're here bidding it."
Oh my gosh.
So it just makes a bad look. You know, like we keep going back to, it's all fun and games until
Yeah.
you know.
And the reality is this type of behavior does hurt us. And no one is here is innocent. I've done burnouts, not in a big parking lot, but I've done burnouts on roads. I've blown smoke on roads.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
but not in the past. What's statute of limitations? 7 years. Not in the
Not
past
last
7 years.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's like, I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people put videos of them rolling coal on people on the sidewalk, or bicycles and stuff like this. Like that really hurt us to where, that hurt our industry big time.
Well, and that gives us the name of the diesel douches. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
and we're not all that way. Like my truck's deleted, and
No, it's not. We're going to cut that out.
oh yeah, sorry.
It's all right. You're good.
Uh,
But yeah, you have a good running truck.
yeah, my truck runs good, but I'm not out there
Right.
beating on it every 2 seconds that I'm in it. You know, it's like,
Right.
they cost a lot of money.
Yeah. They do cost a lot of money. Like
Mhm.
I say, was it that somebody said like some guy rolled coal on a senator or a statesman or something? And that was like the beginning of the end. Like, all right, we're going to crack down on these diesel guys. It's like, if we just wouldn't have rolled coal in public being idiots, we may be in a totally different world than we're in now.
Yeah.
But it's it's hard to resist. I get it when you're a young man. Roll call is fun. But,
Yeah, I remember doing it when I was 16 in my 12 valve.
Yes.
You know, like, but it comes to a point, like, this is how I looked at it, was you could tell the adults from the kids.
Yeah.
You know, we all rented an Airbnb and we all had fun, you know, like, we weren't out at any of those.
Yeah.
Everybody who was here to have fun and actually utilize the dyno, we weren't out doing these.
No. I guarantee you none of the people who competed in the event were probably out there being dumb because they got their fix.
I mean, obviously the kids that were on the dyno, but you know what I'm saying? Like the big high horsepower trucks, you didn't see any of those in the news.
No.
You didn't see any of the people that have been out here for so long doing it. You know, like Josh got a phone call from a detective and it's like, he didn't even have his truck. But
Just made a video.
But still, we weren't out there doing it. Once I left the event, I was in the Airbnb.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I was there all day Friday. When I was done there, I went to the Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how you can tell that you can separate them. You know, it's like the people who actually care about these events.
Yeah. Versus
And want to
those
keep
just-
seeing them do it. And it's like, then there's the other ones that
just there for a good time right now.
yeah.
Right here, right now. Yeah, it's very understandable. So hopefully, I say we're not gonna like come down hard because we understand it. We just, if you're gonna do that, just go play, go to the event, do your thing. It'll be fun. So anyway, I'm curious more about this event, putting it on. You talked about permitting and insurance. Like, who do you even talk to about insurance on this? So I call my local car. Hey, I need a State Farm. I need to insure an event. How's that even work? Is it a different type of person?
So it is an event insurance, but Brighton from Diesels in the Mountains, he helped me. He put me in contact with his guy.
Got you.
And so it would kind of help me in that way. But I mean, I was looking all over the place and I just didn't know who to call, you know?
Right.
So I think like normal insurance companies offer event insurance, but to a certain extent, like they have to be static only car shows, which mine was because the dyno brings their own insurance, but
okay. So if you're gonna put on like kind of, if you do dirt drags in the future, it'll be different.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I can still use the same insurance guy that I just used.
It's just a different type of insurance,
Yeah.
different product.
Yep.
Got you.
So just adding the dirt drags isn't just simply organizing a dirt drag.
Nope.
It's a whole nother insurance, probably
And
different
waivers and
application.
Yep.
Fire cares. They might want an ambulance there.
Yeah, at that point, I think at that point I would have to have a fire truck and an ambulance probably, or at least maybe not the big fire truck, but their, responding truck. So it's a lot more once you get into sled poles and.
But if there's dirt drags, I'm telling you what, man.
Yeah.
I got 4 scoop tires up there ready to
I
eat.
seen you had I seen you had Diesels in the Mountains.
My 4-wheel drive was broken at that event. Now
It's
my
working.
4-wheel drive's working, and I've got 4 scoops up there. You see,
Oh,
4
yeah.
managing scoops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them are brand new. They haven't even seen the dirt before.
So that's gonna be fun.
And we found my big scoops for my 2-wheel drive, so it'll be much better too.
I'm excited for Diesels in the Mountains. That's a good event.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's a big one. I'm sad I wasn't able to meet yours. I mean, you just like 400 trucks show up. Like that's a pretty big.
Yeah,
turnout.
I think roughly probably we had 430.
Wow.
And that's how many like ticket gate sales or
So-
more? How many people came in the gate, you think?
So I sold like 3 something, but I know that I didn't have a ticket scanner. So there was people getting in obviously with other people.
3,000.
Huh?
3,000 or 300?
300.
300. Okay.
300 truck tickets.
Okay.
But then there was people getting in with, their buddy's ticket or whatever, because I didn't have a way to scan it. I didn't think about that in the,
Next year though.
yeah, that's definitely on the next year.
Yeah.
It was there was a lot of people. It was pretty
Was
big.
it? I didn't even. Was the gate expensive? What was the normal ticket? General admission.
So show and shine. So like the general admission for you to just come walk around was like $10, and then
Okay.
So that's cheap in today's standards.
Yeah,
You can't even
no,
get lunch for
you can't do
$10.
anything.
yeah. Well, the show and shine was like anybody's builds were welcome. Those were $35, and then VIP was like you had to be approved into that. Our people had to approve it, and those were $80 for those. But I mean, I sold 110 VIP tickets and over 300 show and shine.
Wow.
So
And where are your show and shine people from? They come from all the country, like you said, Tennessee,
Yeah.
like everywhere.
I mean, even our VIP members, they came from, we had SEMA trucks, and a lot of them came from Idaho, and Then we had people from New Mexico coming, and then Idaho was a big one. There was a lot of people from Idaho, California, Phoenix, Vegas. I mean, it was kind of everywhere. We had a guy
Wow.
message the account and said that he should have won the farthest drive trophy because he drove from Washington State. I guess it was like 15 hours or something.
Jeez.
You're like, Tennessee's farther, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously he didn't know, but
Yeah, 15 hours is a long drive.
yeah.
It'll be fun to see how this grows. Do you anticipate doing more shows like in other locations or just the St. George one annually? Or are you hoping this kind of grows, maybe bigger? Like,
I would like to just do it annually in St. George,
yeah.
just because it's like, it was kind of like the season opener event.
yeah.
You know, everybody's excited to bring their trucks out that they've been working on all
And
winter.
St. George has that good weather where you can get it
Yeah.
really early in the season.
Yeah, for me to get the fairgrounds though, I would have to move it back to the last weekend in March or the first weekend in May. So it kind of makes me a little nervous of it being too hot and
Yeah.
bad weather.
I
you
don't
know?
think March is too bad. I mean,
No, but rain though. If we got rain like we just did this last March, it was like the last weekend in March is pouring rain all weekend. So kind of makes me a little nervous that way.
That's always tough. It's hard to
we went to UCC some years, and one year it rained, and we're like, dude, we have this awesome shirt. We sold out of all of our shirts and hoodies.
Yeah.
Man, we're great. And then we realized every vendor at the event sold out of every
Yeah.
shirt and hoodie because nobody brought enough clothing. They're all freezing. And then you get on a hot year, and if you have kind of a poor design, you don't sell many, and the cool stuff still sells. So.
Yeah, we sold. I mean, I think I only have like 5 shirts left from the event, and we ordered over 200.
Nice.
So first year, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Getting
That's
rid
pretty
of all of
cool.
those, and we had some pretty cool raffles. Like Industrial Injection gave us a bunch of stuff to raffle off, and
Nice.
the
That's
trophies
cool.
were real cool too. We had those water jetted in a cactus shape to go
Oh,
along with
cool.
the Southwest.
Yeah,
You know,
Nice.
Yeah.
so it was
They're
cool.
prickly.
Yeah.
I think you probably don't have yours here, huh?
No, not here. No. They're,
Wait, you took home a trophy?
He
took
took
a 2.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna say, wasn't gonna say it, but trying to carry 2 of them with how prickly they were, it was actually a trick.
yeah. Well, and Josh won one as
Josh
well.
won too.
Yeah.
Like you two. Every time you
So
come
one
down
year we
St.
went to
George.
Flog Fest, and I was embarrassed. At first, I was like, "Yeah, our guys are doing awesome," and then it's just like first place, Myer,
Yeah.
Josh.
I think I was there that year.
Myer, and I'm just like, oh, please. No, like at first, I was like proud, and then I was like, I feel like a jerk,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even me.
They won
Power
everything.
driven, won again.
Good old boys having fun. Okay.
I mean, for a while here, you guys were probably the highest horsepower in Southern Utah. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know anybody else that really has
Yeah.
stuff this close.
Yeah.
What was the biggest power at your event?
So JBJ came and he was having nitrous problems on his first runs. So he did like 19 something. And then
19s.
He got back on before the dynos closed up and he did 2486. But I heard that the rules were your first run counts. You know, it doesn't run on the second one. So Steve Lucero won at 2224, the unlimited class.
Yeah, that's nice. Those are good numbers. Good running trucks. It's been a while since we played the big power game. I blew up
Yeah.
pretty hardcore one time and I just haven't kind of gone back yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One day.
I was surprised. I thought, at least there would have been a couple more explosions, but he was the only one, and it really wasn't even that bad of a cleanup. It made a mess, but it didn't just shoot the hood off of it.
Split the block and then lifted it a little bit too.
And this was a Cummins?
Steve Lucero.
Oh, Lucero blew up his block, huh?
It's cast
Was he
piston
trying to
wonder.
go for 3K or something?
No, it was a cast piston. No, it was a stock block wonder
And a 6.7 Cummins?
6.7, and he did like 22. Or
I think he was
something.
going for like 25. I thought.
Yeah.
I think something like that. But I
Yeah.
mean, still 22, 24 is pretty big power.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. People don't even understand how much power that really is. Like, dyno is kind of unfortunate because it takes away the reality of what the power can do. Like this truck behind me here, this is about 1,600 horsepower. It's so fast.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
nowhere near
Austin-
2,400.
Austin's truck, I mean, his truck is fast.
Yeah, no, it does good.
Yeah, he was in our intro video when we released or when we announced the show, and I rode in it the whole day, and I was blown away
Yeah.
with how fast that thing is. And
Did he dyno?
Yeah, he did 1,200.
Yeah, you don't need crazy. I mean,
1200, especially because he's got like some big turbos, so it's clean the whole time. It's
Yeah.
a good, and like when you over turbo it, it just pulls the
Yeah.
whole way.
Yeah.
Well, and we had a lot of high horsepower trucks. I feel like there was a lot of trucks that were
Yeah.
in the 900 to over 1,000 horsepower
Mhm.
all day
Yeah.
long. I felt like we had. I mean, in the first few runs, that there was a few trucks that almost hit 1,000.
I mean, when I was in my mid-20s, if the big dog at the event would barely break 4 digits, like, oh my gosh, did you see what Richard Mad Dog
or
did?
Chris Werner.
Or Chris Warner
Well,
from California, yeah, from Left Coast or wherever he was. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he hit 1,200.
Well, I remember
Insane.
I remember the diesel power challenge, and it was like it was crazy to hit over 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Back then. What was that? 2017, 2018. It was like it was crazy to hit.
I mean, one of the first trucks that went was a local shop, Smith Diesel.
Yeah.
They did 521 on their VP 44 truck.
And they were a competitive truck. It was
And
a
they
great
were
truck.
competitive with 500 horsepower VP. And I remember
Awesome.
back then I was like, oh, they used a Holly Blue lift pump. I could use one of those.
Yeah, it's
I can
really,
say the very first truck on the dyno at your event was Joshua Travis with his 12 valve, and it made 1,050 or something like that. Very first truck, 12 valve, like doing it for the people.
Nice.
That's our kind of
Nice.
guy.
So there was a
Yeah.
4-digit 12
Yeah,
valve there.
and like not trying to hate on anyone, but Fast just did their event, and we're talking about how many high horsepower trucks here and how numb we are to it. Their highest horsepower of the day was won by a Duramax, which did 1,200 horse.
Fastest event
You're like, dude, you
in
did
the
good.
Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty amazed with like how well, like how smooth the dyno ran. Like I said, we only had the one explosion and a 30-minute cleanup, and we
Yeah.
were back to, they were done by 8:30 and out of there. Like it was good. We sold all 80 dyno tickets, and
Well, she just capped it at 80.
Yeah.
And you did a really good job. That's like, so I'm mostly in the dyno scene, and don't normally when you sell 100 or whatever tickets, like it's just like a crapshoot, like trying to get in the line and you're
Yep.
waiting forever. And like, you got these stock trucks, like they don't care, but like when you have something that makes a good amount of power, you don't want to sit there and idle it and bump it and bump it and bump it. And I love just going out and talking to people. I don't want to be sitting in a truck bumping it for an hour.
Yeah.
And so you had like a short line, and you were very like, you had the guys very like, okay, we just did 35. Where's 36?
Yeah.
If you're not 36, get out of the way.
Yeah, and that was
That was awesome.
and that was a big thing that I wanted. My team really killed it. They really did.
Oh, they did awesome.
It sucks is you make it so the young guys with a 500 horse truck, they either have to be really early registration, but then someone like Todd who's going to register late can't go. So it's almost like you need to raise the dyno price to make a barrier to entry, but it's hard because then you're not fostering a new generation of enthusiasts either. I don't know because I know at Diesels in the Mountain, the line is crazy.
Yeah.
And it seems like, man, if he limited it to 80, it'd be way smoother. But I'm like,
well, and he just moved to a 2-day event now, so it might be a lot better that way.
Randy did 2 dynos, and maybe that's where we're moving
And
to.
I was gonna do 2 dynos, but because there's a guy in town that has just a trailer dyno that you can fit.
Mhm.
I wanted to put just a tune and deleted trucks on it or whatever.
Oh
and-
yeah, you do like small single and tune deleted.
yeah.
Like, perfect.
And the website just wasn't really selling tickets. I think, the Thursday or Friday before, I think we had sold 39 tickets for the dyno, but the day of, it's like everybody kept coming to the booth and being like, I want another dyno. I want to go again. I want to, I want to buy a ticket I haven't been on yet.
Huh.
And by like 1 o'clock, we had all 80 sold.
yes, maybe next year you do the 2 dynos and you have a
If you did like
kind of a backup
if you
lower
marketed
dyno
it as
for-
like you get X% off if you do it online, week prior or
Yeah.
something, or even 2 weeks prior. Because like I can say, I knew that I could sign up for the dyno. I knew I was going to. I did a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do it before. I signed up right there. It's like, it's fine. I'll get in.
But I feel like all in all, the show went really smooth. First year, I thought it would have been way worse. I mean, there was a couple little hiccups, but
No, I thought it was great.
Did you guys? I assume at Staley they had no alcohol allowed. And
yeah, that's another topic. But
was there people smuggling drinks in? Or
yeah,
what
I
was
mean, that's just typical. You're bringing your truck in, like mine's got a tonneau cover on it. I could have a cooler back there.
Mhm.
These people are.
So the particular venue you rented has a no alcohol policy. Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah, and we had talked about it, and she's like, I know it's going to happen.
yeah,
But then, if you're bringing it in with your truck, you can kind of, I'm not saying it's okay, but
right.
you can kind of get away with it a little easier. But when there's people walking up to their gate to buy general admission tickets and they're walking in with 24 packs and I'm getting phone calls about it, like, you know, that's not okay.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does it. And it's just, you know, every event that I've been to.
You know, at the fairgrounds, I mean, I personally don't drink, but I mean, would they let you have a beer vending thing there?
I believe they do allow a beer garden.
And if they had a beer garden or something there, then maybe that's
but
a solution.
You still can't control it. There's still going to be people coming in, you know, with it in their back seat or, you know, I'm not going to say that I haven't done it, but sometimes it's just, you're there with your friends. They have it. You have a couple and, you know, it's like,
it's all being respectful about it.
And
that's the huge part.
And realistically, everybody, like, we didn't have really, obviously there was some trash at the Dyno line. There was quite a bit of trash there because everybody's sitting there all day long, but through the whole event, I mean, when everybody left, it was super clean. And
that's another thing that's happened at other events. They've left it just trashed where that's cool that people were respectful of the site.
I mean, cleanup took 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we were out of there.
Yeah.
There was one guy that had to wait for his trailer to get there. So I didn't get out of there till like 9 or 9:30, but everybody was shut down and out of there quick. I thought I would have at least been there till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody came back the next day, got their trailers, and was out of there. So it went really, really smooth for the first year. I was a little worried about it.
Oh yeah, I'd be freaking.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot. Like, you know, you're making all of these promises, you know, especially to our vendors,
that
are not paying little money.
Right.
You know, they're paying a decent amount of money, and you want to make sure that you're putting on a good event. You know, we had a couple upset vendors about their placement, and we did the best we could to get it fixed. I underestimated how many we had. I mean, we had 34 vendors or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but really, I mean,
is the fairgrounds quite a bit bigger than where you were this year? So
yeah, and they have the indoor area too, like Flog did, where they did some of the vendors indoors and some of the vendors outdoors. So I want to kind of do that to where like the bigger vendors are indoors, and you know, if you want to be outside, then
it also gives you an opportunity if there is weather. If you did do it in March, it gives you like a contingency where people can go get out of the weather, and that's not too bad.
And they have, you know, you can rent all of their bleachers, and they have like, it's more of an actual, like ours is the one that we had was an actual venue, but this is actually like, you know, they do all the barrel racing there, and they have all their bleachers that you can rent, and their microphone setups and speakers, and they give you a whole list of stuff if you need it. You know, it's like, it was kind of like, I wish we could have done some sort of seating at our event, but I don't even know who to call for bleachers. You know, it's like,
was there plenty of, I mean, I've been to some events where they have trouble with hotel rooms, like they're all sold out. Was St. George big enough? Did you have anybody complain that they couldn't find a Airbnb or a hotel?
I feel like it was pretty big. I feel like it was, a lot of people had a place to stay, but at the same time, we tried to book an Airbnb, and they were pretty much sold out. So it was kind of hard once we got to a certain point in the event, but.
So what would you say, like, now you've done this, what was the hardest thing, most stressful thing you had to conquer?
I think I mean, realistically, I think the setup the day of, you know, like just getting all the vendors in place where we wanted them, and, you know, working with them and making sure they had the correct spacing to have their trucks. I feel like that was probably the hardest thing, was just the setup.
Yeah.
I feel like the social media really did its thing. I just stayed consistent with posting and, you know, weekly shout outs to the vendors. Huge. And, I mean, really that was my biggest stress, was setup.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine day will be tough because everybody's there, everybody's yelling at you.
And everybody literally showed up at the same time. So like on Friday, I let everybody know, like, hey, if you guys want to come, at least put your canopies up. Then,
a lot of venues do that with a vendor move in. They let them move in the day before, the evening before, and set up, and it helps get some of the traffic. But you still have people showing up to Dyno, so you got trucks and trailers coming in, and you have all the audience.
Yep. Well, and that was the thing is, I told them, you know, after 3, you guys can come. You know, I'll be here till probably 10 o'clock. You guys can come around then. Well, everybody showed up at 3 the day before. So
perfect.
There was probably, I mean, I think we set up 11 or 12 tents back to back.
Wow.
That day. And then the next day, the rest of everybody's there, you know, so I think that was my hardest part, was getting them all lined out. But I think once it was done, like we have some drone footage, and I love the way that the
layout and everything.
Yeah, the layout was, because it was like you came out of the main gate from the venue into the field, and it was like you could go through vendor alley or you could go to the VIP section, and our booth was right there. So if you wanted shirts or stickers or anything like that, it was, it worked out pretty good. I put all of our actual sponsors in a line separate from the actual vendors, because it was more important for them to get, I wouldn't say necessarily more important, but they were actually you guys were like the ones that actually sponsored the event. So it was kind of more.
So tell me a little more about the show and shine. Was there multiple classes? I mean, how many awards were given out in that?
I would have to look at the list again, but we did have a best of show and shine, which you guys were the judge of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was, I'm trying to remember if there was like, it was either best build or craziest build. So that kind of went for both VIP and the show and shine. And then, because, there was a lot of cool trucks that were in the show and shine that just didn't really care to be in VIP. So it was like, you have a chance either way. And then we had the top 100 for the VIP. So it was.
And what's top 100? Like they order them the top best 100 trucks from number 1 to 100?
Yep. In the VIP section. So we set it at 100. I mean, we sold 110. So you're best of 110 trucks. And I mean, it was cool. There was a lot. We had like cleanest engine bay. We had all the dyno classes. I accidentally missed 2 dyno classes. Sorry, the small single guys.
Wait, so Dark Side, the guy that beat me, didn't walk off with a trophy?
But he got a cash prize.
Suck it, Spencer.
Yeah, he got a cash prize though. So we made sure every class had a cash prize. But when when we were discussing the list of trophies that we needed made, it just slipped our minds, and so like the small compound didn't have a trophy. And,
I mean, is a couple $1,000s going to making that many trophies? I mean,
yeah,
it's a good chunk of money.
Yeah, because you got to think water jet, welding, and then powder coat.
And they're each different, so you can't batch them or anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of, I'd say, old school promoters I've met, they sometimes don't realize the value of a trophy. I mean, sometimes like someone like, I know Myer, for example, he's like he cares more about the trophy than the cash on winning. I mean, I went to one time in NHRD World Series and they had like Super Bowl rings that you won for being like the world champion.
That would be kind of cool.
And some people were all about it, and other people were like, it's like a generational thing. They're like, a ring? What am I going to do with this stupid ring?
I would say the best one I ever got, and it was like sad, is like it was a WWE style belt. But I stole Josh's truck to get it, and so he
was that at the
at Pierce? Yeah. And so he was like, "Hey, I will not get mad at you for stealing my truck without telling me, but if I get that belt,
It's
like, you can keep the cash, it's fine, but give me that belt."
Yeah, that was a good
really
day.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
I remember you walked up to me like, "Hey, where's Josh?" I was like, "So fun fact, he's in Cali."
I have videos of it blowing insulation out of their ceiling.
It's great.
But if you go, I've seen some venues, they go cheap on the trophies the next year to try to shave more bottom line. And I don't think that's the answer.
I think, I
think wild trophies bring out.
Yeah. I mean, the fact, like the way I
people
look at it, I'm not trying to be like conceited or anything. You kind of like made it sound like, oh, liking trophies is not cool. Like cash will enter my bank account and leave my bank account. That trophy is going to be sitting there forever.
Yeah. True. And we wanted to make sure we were giving a cash prize with the trophy. Yeah, it was a lot. But it makes you guys want to come back next year, Yeah, it might not have been a $2,500 unlimited giveaway, but you still got money.
And that Lucero truck, I mean, even if he had won, or maybe he did. He's just like, is this going to cover $40,000 of engine damage?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but
no one sprays it.
Competes in these events thinking they're going to make money in these events.
Yeah.
These are not money making events.
No. Yeah, no one tries to spray a cast stock block to over 2,000 thinking they're going to make money doing it.
And he won money doing it. So
I mean, he did, but not really.
Yeah.
He won the internet, I assume, right? There was some good footage of it.
It really wasn't that bad of an explosion.
Yeah.
Like Randy's at Diesel's in the Mountains was insane, and this one just seemed like
you're talking the grill failure one where the grill failed and then the engine came apart?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Exactly.
Yeah, that one. Well,
but his was very contained. It was a small fire, but like that was
it was like it was a flame and then it was gone. And we have some pretty cool pictures of that. My video guy and my photographer was on that one. So
Nice.
but I thought it turbo blew. I didn't think. And then you
Is that
get
small?
yeah, it really wasn't that big
You
of
saw
a.
it raining from the back. I saw it raining underneath. I was like,
Like,
I recognize that.
Well, from the front, I mean, from the front, you couldn't really tell when it happened. And then
Did
you
the whole
walk up
rod
here.
or piston come out, or was
Just
it just
chunks.
block chunks?
No, he posted a video of it on his Instagram of what the block looks like. It's literally split in half.
Yeah, it's pretty like a 1/4 inch crack. the whole
But
way.
it blew a chunk out of the last cylinder and
yeah,
But it split it lengthwise.
it's lengthwise, but then the top also separated from the bottom a little bit. So I think
So
it
it's the
started
cam
to crack.
tunnel it
Yeah.
broke too.
So
Well, fun.
yeah,
I don't want to blow up another engine then down. I've blown up enough engines. I've done my share. So I feel bad people who do. I know.
yeah, you
It
guys
sucks.
have blown up a few engines.
Yes, we have. He has. I have. You have.
I've actually gone through more blocks than anybody here now,
That's true.
but
You-
none of
you-
mine have been spectacular. They've just been a little crack
cracks.
here, there.
Your old green truck
Yeah.
was insane. You sent me videos of it spooling up on the dyno, and that thing is
That was the second time he'd done that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
The first time was over 100 miles an hour at the drag
end of the
strip.
drag strip. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I do remember that video actually.
Yeah. So it has seen its share of engine blow up. So I'm done with those. But anyway, long story short, it was fun. It was worthwhile.
Yeah, it was a good time. Other than you plan to do this event and you have all these people helping you to want to be able to enjoy it, but you're so busy and worrying
Yeah.
about what's going on the whole time that it was still fun. And my son loves it, and I took him
Yeah.
to Diesels in the Mountains last year, and he absolutely loved it. So it was fun to see him there and have fun. And I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him, but the time that I did get to spend with him, it was a good time.
Yeah.
And that's
Thanks.
that's all that really matters, is
Yeah.
having fun with your friends and your family. And
And other enthusiasts. I mean, it really is fun.
oh
Like,
yeah,
You can talk to anybody there. People
Yeah.
you've never met, and you're having a conversation about something. I mean,
yeah.
they are fun. These shows are fun. People should go to them.
And that was a cool thing for me, is because I've been on social media for a while, and
Yeah.
a lot of these faces I've never met other than just on social media, and it was cool to be able to talk to them in person and really get to meet them. And it's just fun. It brings a lot of people together, and that's why it's so hard for me, especially with what happened after the event.
Yeah.
Was you put all this time into this event, and it's like now there's a chance that I might not be able to do it again because
Yeah. And what people think about it, people who are not at the event, all the locals think about, these are the guys who come and tear up our stuff.
yeah, and they don't see what.
Right.
Not a lot of people actually get to see what goes into an event, and or a lot of people don't come to them either, so they
Right.
don't know, and they only see what's going on Facebook and the news and stuff like that, so they just think we're out here tearing up their town, but
Right.
realistically, it's not all of us,
No.
and there's a lot of us that really do respect what we do, and we all enjoy it, and it's what we've done for a long time.
Right.
I've owned every body style of Dodge because that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's
You've owned a first gen before?
oh yeah, first
Hardcore.
gen, 2 second gens, a 3rd gen, a 4th gen, and my 5th gen.
Nice. Hardcore, man. That's really cool. So yeah, I guess just my takeaway from this is like, go and play. Don't be stupid afterwards. I mean, we've all been stupid, but you will ruin the event. It will make it so you can't have another one, which is unfortunate. I've done my own share of stupid stuff. Not as much as Myer, but
okay, easy there. You said you used to think rolling coal was cool. I never did. So
you're too young for it. Yeah.
I mean, your truck's pretty smoky over there.
okay, easy, dude.
you
I
did
wanna
roll some gold.
Show me someone else that spools a GT55 cleaner,
It's still
fuel
smoky.
only.
Still smoky.
Spools, very clean. Makes power with it.
Okay,
Another story.
whoa. Spools. That's what I said.
I know.
Stick to what I said.
I heard it. Yeah.
And like for people that are worried about like going up on the dyno and looking like an idiot, I would say that if I saw anyone like I don't even know what they would do that would make me feel like,
Yeah,
oh, they're an
really.
idiot. Like downshift issues, like okay, whatever. If
It
they
happens.
like it happens. Like now, like I have a better possibility of looking like an idiot on a dyno, making a terrible number because my lift pump was wired backwards. Like this guy's dynoed 1,000 times. What is his problem?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like everybody can say, oh, well, I don't want to get up there and look like an idiot, but
You won't.
I can't even
it's
think.
just that's what you come to the event for. You know what I
if
mean?
you
It
want to
doesn't
look like
matter.
an idiot, do a burnout as you leave the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's or run through the field doing something stupid. Those are the idiots.
Yeah.
That's a great point because like we just said, when you're dynoing or whatever, I can't even think of what someone could do on the dyno that would make me feel like, oh, like those guys are an idiot. I can't even think about it.
No.
Yeah.
But when I see someone like getting
What if
after
you
it,
shift
coming
in a
out
park as it's rolling to a stop and you hear the parking rod go?
I'm gonna be like, been there.
It is kind of funny to watch people pulling onto the dyno though.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, like when someone's leaving the event and they start like, ripping a burnout, doing smoke, I'm like, dude, like people are here watching thousands of horsepowers with a truck. Your 400 isn't impressing anyone. That's how you look like an
but it
idiot.
would be impressive if you entered the stock turbo class. That would be impressive.
What I do when I drive through an event, though, when it's my turn to dyno or drag race, I try to like whack the throttle so my truck lopes extra, and everyone thinks I'm extra cool.
So
So I'm pulling, I'm just kind of,
oh yeah. Todd has a
It's
pump
the
that does it
fake
for
lope.
him.
Yeah, I
So
automated
well, if
that.
you have a low power truck like mine, you have to have the fake lope tune with your pedal.
So after these
Yeah.
guys were dynoing, they were like, they'd just get off the dyno and they'd spool it up really quick just to kind of like show because the whole crowd's right there, whatever. And so I was like, that's cool. So I got off with my GT55 and I roll in front of the crowd and I floor it. And they're expecting it to come up. I'm like, ooh, are you kidding?
This thing ain't never gonna come
I'm like, it's not going anywhere, guys.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's just gonna make a bunch of smoke right now. That's all it's gonna do.
That's great.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean there was some cool trucks there. I definitely had a good time. It just sucks, I'm hoping that we can do it again next year
Yeah,
because
hopefully next year. Yeah, I hope you get your permit next year for sure. I hope they don't say no.
yeah.
And hopefully, like people learn from this. Like, dude, this is not like this could be a really cool event, a local event in Southern Utah. There's not a lot of them around here
Yeah.
out west. I mean, and so I'm hopeful that you get your permit. And I'm hopeful like don't do it during spring break next year because I guarantee I won't be around.
You just got to tell your wife you can't make
Yeah,
it.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, good luck.
But I would like to go be part of these events and have this grow. So anyway, yeah, I think that's about as far as we got this episode. I just, events are cool. If you have events around your home where you're at, you should go participate. You should go support those and play in the event. Don't be doing burnouts afterwards. It's not in a parking lot. Go some back road or something like that. So anyway, I appreciate you coming up here, Damian, and meeting with us and telling us about, how to start an event. Will wants to do and I don't.
Well, if you guys ever need any help, I'll help out.
All right, we got the guy here. So anyway.
But I appreciate you guys having me on here and
Yeah.
listening to what we have to say. And
Yeah.
really, I just want everybody to, be better with it next year,
Yeah.
so we can do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode on what it takes to put on a diesel event. And we will see you next time on the Power Driven Podcast. Thanks.